Picture this. You did everything right. You worked for 40 years. You saved. You put money into super. And now you're sitting here looking at your account and thinking, where did it all go? Your savings account is paying you 1.2% interest. Meanwhile, inflation in Australia last year was sitting above 3%. That means every single dollar you're saving is actually getting poorer. And nobody at the bank told you that. I'm Gramps. I learned this the hard way, and today I'm going to show you the exact steps to turn your savings into real wealth before retirement, without risking your security, without a financial advisor charging you $5,000 a year. Part 1. The Savings Trap. Here's something most Australians over 60 don't realize. You've actually already got an investment account. It's called your super. The problem is, a lot of us leave it in the default fund, the one the employer picked 20 years ago, and it just sits there, not working as hard as it should. Let me show you the numbers. If you had $200,000 sitting in a savings account earning 1.5%, after 20 years, you'd have around $269,000. Sounds all right. But if that same $200,000 was invested in a balanced index fund averaging 7% a year, you'd have over $773,000. Same money, completely different outcome. The bank doesn't tell you this, but I had to figure it out so you don't have to. Now, before you touch anything, before you move a single dollar, you need what I call your sleep at night money. 3 to 6 months of living expenses sitting in a high-interest savings account. Not shares, not super, cash. Because here in Australia, accessing your super early is restricted. And you don't want to be forced to sell investments at the wrong time just to fix the car. Think of your money in 2 buckets. Bucket 1, safety money. This doesn't move. It doesn't fluctuate. It's your Centrelink buffer, your emergency cash, your peace of mind. Bucket 2, growth money. This is allowed to go up and down because its only job is to grow over time. Most Australians I speak to have nearly everything in Bucket 1. And that's what's costing them in retirement. You don't need to put in $50,000 to start. Here in Australia, you can begin with as little as $500. Through platforms like Vanguard, CommSec Pocket, or even through voluntary contributions to your super. The goal isn't to get rich overnight. The goal is to build the habit and let compounding do the heavy lifting. Now, here's where I want to save you from a mistake I see a lot of blokes my age make. They jump straight into individual stocks. BHP one day, lithium miners the next. I get it. It feels exciting. But here's what the data shows. Most active investors underperform the index over 10 years. The simplest and most powerful approach? A low-cost ASX or Global Index ETF. You're spreading your money across hundreds of companies at once. Lower risk, long-term growth, and the fees are a fraction of what a managed fund charges. And this one is specifically for Australians. If you're 60 or over, you have access to strategies most people never hear about. Salary sacrifice contributions before 67. Transition to retirement pensions, spouse contribution splitting, franking credits that come back to you as a tax refund. The system wasn't explained to us honestly when we were 40, but now that we know the rules, we can use them. Let me leave you with one more number. Say you're 62 and you start putting an extra $300 a month into a voluntary super contribution, on top of what your employer already pays. At 7% average return, by the time you're 72, that's an extra $52,000 in your super. You contributed $36,000. The rest, $16,000, came purely from growth. And here's the kicker. Inside Super, that growth is taxed at only 15%, not your marginal rate. That's the system working for you, not against you. So here's the summary. The 5 steps Gramps wishes someone had told him at 55. 1. Build your emergency fund. 2. Separate safety money from growth money. 3. Start small and consistent. 4. Use low-cost index ETFs. 5. Look at your super strategy, because that's where most Australians leave money on the table. Saving gives you stability. Investing gives you freedom. And in Australia, if you know the rules, the system can actually work in your favor. If this helped, hit subscribe. And I want to know, are you still mostly in savings or have you already started investing? Drop it in the comments below. I read every single one.